Talk out of the east is that the Bulldogs could be missing up to about 7 or 8 players. Are you hearing the same things from your people, that they've got some major concerns injury-wise? I guess it doesn't affect you.
Yeah, no, we'll wait until, when we see the Bulldog squad, we'll have a better idea of where everything's at. But we're preparing ourselves to be maintaining the intensity that we want to play with this week.
You tailed off a fracture. I mean, the 2 really good wins over Carlton and Geelong. Obviously, the St Kilda game, you had a bad quarter or two. Do you feel that the boys have tailed off at all since those big wins?
No, I don't think so. Geelong was an 8-point win. It was a very similar game to the St Kilda game. Basically shared the game with them in terms of dominating for a half, and the other half the other team were in charge of. So overall, we're really pleased with the form the players have shown against top opposition in the last month.
Do you take anything, Woosha, out of the last time the two teams met, or do you think it's a completely different scenario?
Every time I get asked a question about what do you take out of your opposition's either current form or previous form, we learn every time we watch the opposition play or we play against teams, we try and learn something. But our focus is always on around our preparation and being able to play at the intensity we want to play it.
What's the latest on Umpiring, John?
Going really well. Going really well.
Do you expect him to be named tomorrow?
We've got training this afternoon. He's already done a bit of work this morning, so I'm not sure exactly what he's going to do this afternoon, but if he's declared fit by the medical staff, then he'll be named.
What's he done differently this week compared to last year?
Yeah, well, they follow a rehab program, and I don't always track it that closely other than I find out are they fit or not. So if you can imagine, whatever he did last week, he's done more at higher intensity again this week.
So you would regard him as closer and maybe significantly closer than he was last week?
Yeah, last week, my feeling was they weren't going to declare him fit, and I think I said that at the press conference that he was less than 50-50, but this week I would say he's getting back to full fitness, getting close to being fully fit, and then it's a matter of the medical staff to say has he ticked all the boxes to say he's no risk taking him into the game. We don't want to have any setbacks with him, so that'll be the medical call.
Has this been about getting him right for the rest of the season, or is he going to be a week by week case?
No, more about getting him right so that he doesn't come in, get sore, miss more games, miss another week, be in doubt. Trying to get him where he's resilient, ready to play out the season.
Bush, do you have any comment about Jeff Geeshan saying that Valentine, that was a bad decision, that he had played on and he shouldn't have even had the shot at goal?
No, I haven't heard Geeshan's comments. So that's an umpiring, training, coaching thing.
Did you, I know you spoke about the kick itself, but when you were watching, it looked as if he was going on a bit of an arc. Did you think at the time he had played on yourself?
Not at the time, but it would be fair to say, or accurate to say, that I did show our group that Lynchy should have not moved off the mark where it was set, because it just would have highlighted the difficulty of the angle, one in Ballantyne's own mind, but also for the umpires to see if he had stepped off it at all. So the fact that Lynchy came off the mark by a metre or two and around a bit, it was a learning curve for us. Next time we're in that situation, after the siren, on the 50 boundary line, so we're ready for it next time.
You're talking about looking back on the way players react. I mean, a couple of 50-metre penalties, which frustrated a few of us watching the game, just in terms of the umpire. A, do you think your players were at fault? And B, do you think there is scope for not just a 50-metre penalty for infringements that may seem extremely minor?
Well, the Nat Nui one was 50. So regardless of disappointment about anything, you give the ball back when the decision's made. Glassey's was, I think he did touch the ball, so that's 50, can't reach in. And Scott Selwood's, on the letter of the law, he didn't throw the ball directly back to the player who had the free kick. He threw it to the player he thought had the free kick, but the umpires didn't adjudicate on that. So whether they have the ability to show some sympathy if they believe they knew he was doing the right thing. Would they have paid it? I don't know. So, yeah, the two were there. The Scott Selwood one was mistaken identity.
South Australia want us to ask about your assistants, Burnsy and Summer. Are they ready to be senior coaches?
It's not really my decision to say they're ready. Really, it's they're both obviously talented football people and very, very valuable members of our coaching group. Adelaide, once they decide what type of person they're looking, what type of coach to fill that position, they may or may not be of interest to the Crows, but it's well out of my area.
I guess though, to see guys in your team being promoted or certainly spoken of highly is a credit to them and the structure you've got here. Yeah,
well, we obviously rate those guys really highly. Peter Sumage has been well and truly in contention for a couple of jobs over his time here, and he certainly hasn't gone backwards. He's gone from working with a talented midfield to working with a forward line and building that up, and done a great job there. So, yeah, really, I would suggest that both guys are, as I said, talented football people.
Could you just give us a bit of an insight into the way Scott Burns works, both as a person and as a coach, the attributes that he brings to the side?
Well, he's got great knowledge of the game. He's strategically, very in tune with where the game's at currently, and not only working with game strategies, but using the strengths of our individual players. Got some unique guys that we get through the midfield. He's been great in a development role, and he's very resilient. He's worked with a very, very young midfield group over the last 2 or 3 years, and he's starting to see the results of building them up to where they are now. Well, one of his key things is our midfield strategies. He's in charge of that.